Chapter 3. Hyperalgesia. In medicine, noun, abnormally heightened sensitivity to pain. The explosion. The sound was deafening. The shock and smell of a large gun going off. I'm stumbling back, failing to catch my footing, avoiding potential fatal funnels, doorways, hallways, and windows. I have to slow down to an emotional level, pain in my hands like they were smacked away, chest stabbed, lungs straining, the wind was knocked out of me, my head slams back, pain in my face. Kaboom, the walls echoed. Kaboom! Flash blinded instantly, impossible to talk or hear. I look down at my hands, dust, smoke, and vaporized blood misting the air. I see my bones, actual bones, with pink flesh barely hanging on. I try wiggling what used to be fingers in disbelief. I saw what broken bones were in my fingers, where they used to be. I look down at my chest. Pieces of metal are sticking out of me. Are my lungs hit? Starved of oxygen. I can't breathe. I manage to suck air through my mouth slowly. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. There's a bitter metallic taste in my mouth with a slight metallic touch. I felt somehow I had forgotten how to breathe. No gargling. Okay, my lungs probably aren't punctured. The window didn't shatter, not a sniper. I tried to pull the jagged metal out of my chest, but one is curved up inside. I have to wiggle it out of my exposed ribs. That hurt in all kinds of ways. Crimson red soaking the center of my chest, blood running down my face and off my chin. My sternum took the brunt of it. The jagged hot metal, a huge area got mutilated from third-degree burns, which cauterized some of the openings, making it relatively better for staunching the blood. My ears are ringing. I have a falling sensation. I look at Tony, and debris blurs my vision. He looks at me, and I yell to hear myself, "You okay?" I need to go to the hospital. He turns albino white. I think he might pass out. He asks, "What do you need?" I need a clean rag and a tourniquet. Blood is flowing faster now, dark red, out of my hand and chest. My face was covered in it as well. I must have got some in my eye, I think. He runs out and shuts the door behind him. I squeeze my forearm to slow the blood with my right hand and the palm of my left hand on the holes in my chest. I can't stop the bleeding. I can't put away the rest of the explosives. It would take hours to get to the hospital. I would die if I tried. I'll send an approved handler to clean up once I get to the emergency room. To boil down my thought process, I had two choices. Option 1, take military-grade explosive ordnance to a hospital. Or option 2, not that. He comes back, hands me a rag, and covers my freshly thinned digits. He helps me into his truck. "No seatbelt," Tony says. "Don't fall asleep. Stay with me." He grabs my arm and says, "This is gonna hurt." He secures the tourniquet around my bicep, right where the brachial artery is, and he cranks it tight. 3 turns. It must have been hard. My biceps are huge. Just kidding. I am trying to use one hand on the radial artery to slow the flow of blood. It doesn't work. Then he cranks it tighter and tighter, finally slowing it to a drip. He asks, "Where do I go?" "Get on 14 Main Street, 1400 North, I think," I said through gritted teeth. He drove it like he stole it, cutting off traffic and weaving between other vehicles. In normal conditions, this is at least frowned upon. On the other hand, when seconds count, help is often minutes away. It is wise to be self-reliant. We stop at a red light. I look at him and command him to drive through it. "Turn on your hazards and honk." There is a car stopped at the next light. He honks and drives on the sidewalk around the car and speeds off. I am so happy, delirious with blood loss and trauma. All my pain is gone and everything is making me laugh. I keep trying to crack jokes like, "If at first you don't succeed, skydiving may not be for you." We turned on to 1400 North. I tell him to turn right and head to the emergency room. "I think this counts." I chuckle. He stomps the brakes and I lurch forward. He rushes over to help and open the door for me. I ran into the ER. My eyes are irritated by the searing magnesium floodlights in the waiting room, but all things considered, it's not my primary concern. The stench of burnt flesh lingering on me. I talk to the sluggish lady behind the desk. "There has been an accident." I didn't hear her reply. "I was working. I am licensed to work with explosives. 9 UT 005 202C. The rest redacted. Expires March 3rd, 2022. My friend comes in and says, "I need to get your gun." Okay, sounds good to me. "Did I mention I was carrying a firearm?" It may have slipped my mind. He grabs it from inside the waistband holster in my belt, finger off the trigger, pointing the barrel down and away from people, concealing it as to not raise panic, showing experience. Unfortunately, right after this, a sheriff stops him on his way to lock it up. He is holding a loaded gun in a hospital, and I have holes in my chest with blood all over my head and arms, using a dish towel to cover my hand, and my shirt soaked through with heavy bloodstains. Checkmate. Got him. The Logan Regional Hospital has called both security and the police. This is where things start to get bad. As I am taken to the C-scan to assess the damage, the police and sheriff's dispatch calls for the fire department, the ATF, the FBI, the DHS, Utah Bomb Squad, EMS, UBI, and other parts of the alphabet soup. My friend insists I call work to let them know I can't make it in for graveyard security. I really didn't like that job. He calls my mom as well. I keep thinking, will I live or die? Will I lose my fingers? If I fall asleep, will I wake up? Would anyone miss me? Will anyone remember me? I start crying. Who cares? Just let go. It's not worth staying. I miss my dad. All that will be remembered of me is this epic fail. My business blowing up in my face. A sheriff was taking pictures. I said, "You don't have my permission." It sounded harsher than I meant, but the nurse asked her to leave. Another nurse said, "A woman claiming to be your mom is outside the door. She asked to see me." I didn't want her to see me like this. It was always one of her biggest fears. Her favorite son dying in front of her. Helpless. That's her boy. She has put a great deal of effort into raising our family. I didn't want the last memory of me to be like this. I don't want anyone to see me like this. Broken, empty-handed. My wife, mom, siblings, scout leader, friends, fellow martial artists. I was going to be forgotten. My mom made me swear to her that I would let her know if I had passed away. I owed her that much. But I just couldn't let her see me like this. I was damaged, missing parts of my hand, drenched in blood, and I covered my hand with gauze to hide my mangled fingers, but embarrassingly, the blood quickly soaked through. I wiped my face and said she could come in. This was how my dad passed away years ago. Well, not exactly. He slowly crossed over the veil to the other side to lie asleep in the arms of the Lord. I kept thinking, I'm ready to go. My mom steps in. I lose it. I'm a wreck, crying, whimpering, and trying to get up the courage to send my love and say goodbye. I tell her to sit down before she passes out. The doctor came in and informed me that I am being prepped to go under emergency surgery. As I am about to be put under, the doctor asks, "Do you drink or smoke?" I think this is a bad time for a barbecue. I said, "No, never." "Okay," he says, adding, "You need to understand that we may have to amputate." I answered, "If there's any option, don't amputate anything." The doctor nodded, but it was a no promises kind of nod. The anesthesiologist, okay, the guy who knocks you out and gets paid in private islands, comes in and asks for my white to give me a healthy dose of propofol. My eyes close. There is a point in time and space and beyond, and if my son was just blown up, there is no place in the universe I would rather be than with him. There are people on the other side of the veil that helped carry me through this ordeal. There is no way I could have made it without divine intervention. Later, who knows how much later, my eyes open. I'm in a new room. I have an eye patch on. My hand and chest are covered and wrapped. Importantly, they are still attached to me. I made it. I'm so grateful. The best of the best worked on me, masters of their craft. They repaired me. Having said that, there are limits to what even masters can do. Sometimes, though, I am informed that a portion of my hand was indeed amputated.